First up, let's dive into the do's of gardening. These are the golden rules every green thumb should follow. Think of these as your guiding compass, the North Star in your gardening journey. Now let's crack open this treasure chest of gardening wisdom. Picture this. Your garden is a living, breathing entity, just like us. It needs food, water, and yes, even a little bit of tender, loving care. So our first do is this: water wisely. Just like Goldilocks in the famous fairy tale, your plants don't want their porridge too hot or too cold. They want it just right. In the world of gardening, this translates to watering. Not too much, not too little, but just the right amount. Now I know what you're thinking. How do we know what just right is? Well, that's where the magic of observation comes into play. Keep an eye on your plants. If their leaves are wilting or turning yellow, they might be crying out for a drink, but be careful. Overwatering can be just as harmful as underwatering. If the leaves are yellowing but the soil is wet, you might be giving your plants more than they can handle. Next on our list of do's, nurture your soil. Your soil is the foundation of your garden. It's the bed where your plants sleep, the kitchen where they eat. Treat it like a five-star hotel. Feed it with compost, mulch, and organic matter to keep it rich and fertile. Remember, happy soil equals happy plants. Now don't be surprised, but plants like humans enjoy a little pampering. This brings us to our third do. Give your plants some TLC. Regular weeding and pruning are essential for a healthy garden. Weeding is just like decluttering your room. It gives your plants the space they need to grow and flourish. And pruning? Well, consider it a spa day for your plants. By trimming away dead or overgrown branches, you're giving your plants a fresh new look while also promoting healthier growth. Now, I want you to take a moment and imagine you're in a jungle. It's lush, it's green, and it's a bit wild. That's the kind of energy we're aiming for in our gardens. Not a chaotic, untamed wilderness, but a vibrant, thriving ecosystem. So get out there and embrace your inner Tarzan or Jane. Swing from the metaphorical vines of gardening knowledge and conquer the green jungle with these do's. And always remember, when it comes to watering, it's all about the Goldilocks principle. Not too much, not too little, but just right. So equip yourself with a watering can in one hand and a pair of pruning shears in the other, and get ready to create your own garden paradise. Stay tuned for the next scene where we'll dive into the don'ts of gardening. Because let's face it, we all love a good blooper reel. Until then, keep those green thumbs up and those garden beds lush. Happy gardening. P. Now that we've covered the do's, it's time to navigate the don'ts of gardening. These are the pitfalls you'll want to steer clear of. First off, let's talk about overzealous pruning. Imagine you're feeling all powerful with your shears in hand and you start to get a little snip happy. Before you know it, your lush leafy plant is looking a bit bald. I'm sure we've all been there, right? But fear not, this is a common mistake and one that's easy to avoid. Remember, pruning is like giving your plants a haircut. You wouldn't want someone to come at you with a pair of scissors without a plan, would you? So show the same courtesy to your plants. Trim sparingly and strategically to keep your plants healthy and well-shaped, not traumatized. Next up, let's talk about the mistake of neglecting soil health. Soil is the lifeblood of your garden. It's where your plants get all the nutrients they need to grow. But if you're not taking care of your soil, your plants are going to suffer. It's like trying to eat a nutritious meal from an empty plate. It's just not going to work. So don't overlook the importance of regularly testing your soil and amending it with organic matter. Your plants will thank you. Now let's move on to another common blunder: overwatering. Yes, plants need water to survive, but too much of a good thing can actually be bad. Overwatering can lead to root rot and other water-related diseases. It's like forcing your plants to live in a perpetual rainstorm. So remember the Goldilocks principle we talked about earlier? Apply it here too. Not too much, not too little, but just right. And finally, let's discuss the mistake of ignoring the specific needs of your plants. Every plant is unique with its own set of requirements for sunlight, water, soil, and temperature. It's like having a bunch of picky eaters at a dinner party. You wouldn't serve a steak to a vegetarian, would you? Similarly, don't expect your shade-loving fern to thrive in direct sunlight or your cactus to enjoy a daily drenching. Get to know your plants and their preferences, and they'll reward you with healthy growth. And there you have it, folks. The don'ts of gardening summed up in 4 common mistakes. Remember, gardening is a learning journey filled with trials, errors, and lots of dirty hands. But don't worry, even the best gardeners make mistakes. The key is to learn from them and keep growing. So, to recap, don't go crazy with the pruning shears, don't neglect your soil, don't drown your plants, and don't ignore their specific needs. Keep these don'ts in mind, and you'll be well on your way to becoming a green thumb. Remember, folks, moderation is key when it comes to pruning. Don't let your plant look like it got a bad haircut from a blindfolded barber. As we wrap up our green journey, let's talk about balance. It's the secret ingredient to a thriving garden. Picture a seesaw. On one side we have the do's, on the other, the don'ts. Too much of either and we're off kilter, but strike the right balance and everything falls into place. Remember, gardening isn't a rigid science, it's more of an art, a dance of sorts between you and nature. The do's and don'ts we've discussed are your dance steps, but don't be afraid to freestyle a bit. Be observant, learn from your plants, and adjust your steps as needed. And most importantly, don't forget to have fun. Gardening is a journey, not a destination. It's about getting your hands dirty, watching life grow, and taking pride in your green creations. With a little laughter and a lot of love, your garden will flourish like never before. Ready to put your newfound knowledge to the test? Dive into your garden with confidence.